Rosemary Rock Evans. Childhood 1950 to 1962. Rosemary's mother and father lived in a semi-detached house, 75 Lawn Avenue in Dogsthorpe, Peterborough. The house was newly built by her mother's brother, Cliff, who had inherited her father's building firm. The house had a bath, but no central heating and no shower. As such, I was washed in a tin bath as a baby with a single-bar electric fire for warmth. A coke-fired boiler gave heat in the kitchen and hot water. A coal fire in the lounge heated the lounge, meaning I was always very well covered, whether in a pram or inside the house. There was no dishwasher, no washing machine, and we had an open-flame gas cooker that you lit using a gun. The house had one toilet inside and one outside, which was very cold and full of spiders. A pantry served as a storage place for food, but we had no fridge. And everyone wore clothes several sizes too big you could grow into and thus save money. These ladybird pajamas were very cozy though. My father did have a car, a Morris 8, one he had probably owned well before the war. And on his annual holidays we would drive to Torquay and stay with my Auntie Lee, who had a boarding house in Torquay. And this is where Rosemary learned to walk, aided by her mum, cousins and Auntie Lee's guests. Rosemary didn't have a dog because her mum's dog Sally was run over in 1950, and the grief that caused meant she said, "Never again." But Rosemary had her cousin Sue to play with, who looked after her and was great fun. And she had her Auntie Lorna, Mum's sister, who could turn a heel and admired skill in a knitter. And she had her Uncle Fred, who was also kind and fun. And of course she had her parents. And her world consisted of them, the garden and the sun and the rain and the birds. But at 5 years old, it became time for her to be sent to school. And Rosemary went to Queen's Drive West Infant School, which was a mixed school. She learned to read and write via the Janet and John books, and listened to Children's Hour on the radio with her mum, because all they had in those days was a radio. And she listened to the Uncle Mac request program on Saturdays with Sparky and his magic piano, and the Laughing Policeman, Nellie the Elephant, Teddy Bear's Picnic and the Runaway Train. And at weekends Rosemary went blackberrying or picking bluebells and cowslips, because the fields and hedgerows were full of them. And in summer play on the beach. Rosemary then went to All Saints Junior School, which was all girls. And you wore a uniform, a navy blue gym slip. She learned to swim without a rubber ring. Took part in a nativity play. And she improved in all subjects, although as you can see they had not marked her down as a genius. But she won art competitions. And won essay competitions. And particularly remembers the inspired teaching of the lady who taught the 4th year, Miss Baxter, who let them create an anthology, using whatever they could find, on whatever subject they chose, which, in Rosemary's case, was transport. And Rosemary passed her 11+, meaning the next school she would be sent to would be Peterborough County Grammar School for Girls.